Coffee enthusiasts to First Crack Coffee Roasting's YouTube channel. In this series, we're going to be interviewing local craft entrepreneurial businesses right here in Shasta County over a cup of coffee. Get to know them, let you understand what it is they do and how to get a hold of them. So with that, roll it. How you doing, Jonathan?
Doing good, thank you.
Good, good. Yeah. Yeah, I've really been looking forward to this conversation
Yeah,
and just to get to know you more. I know I met you about 5 months ago,
right.
and like an hour, 2 hours here and there over some weeks, I've learned more about you, and it just my interest level went up. And I'm gonna be really honest. I'm gonna do that with every video. When you were sharing with me, you did custom jewelry and you did wood inlay. My head went to, oh, I go to craft fairs all the time,
Right.
and I see people that bring their jewelry, and some of it's kind of like, you know. And so I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then I saw your work,
Right.
and I saw the quality of what you put into it. It's not like people like his rings. I'm not even talking about the other jewelry, but just the rings are excellence. Everything about it is excellence. And so it started to prompt me to have some questions for you here. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been making jewelry now for 14 years in March will be 14
Okay,
years.
all right, 14
Yeah.
years. That's a long time. Did
Yeah.
you go to a trade, or did you like metalwork and wood and you combine, like, how did you get into this business?
So I started out, it was just an Etsy shop and I was just making all wood rings, like a bent wood process. And at the time, I think it was about maybe or out of seven in the world doing it. And so my business kind of took off from there. And then more customers were asking, "Hey, can we do this? Can we try this?" And so we were just kind of trying to push the limits of, chasing victory, trying to see what we can do and what was possible until it came to the point of actually marrying the metal and the wood together.
Yeah, it's fascinating. When I'm
Yeah.
looking at it, I think, okay, well, wood, right? Somehow you have to get it to bend without
Mhm.
cracking or breaking.
Right.
I'm sure it's thin, or you're
Mhm.
doing layers, and I'm assuming again,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then how you like bond it in there and keep it from coming out. Like, can
Mm.
you answer any of those?
Yeah, so it is a thin veneer, about zero point 0.5 millimeters thick. It's really thin. And so what we do is we wet it, and then once it's nice and wet and soaks up all that water, then it's bendable and pliable. So then you can bend it into actual layers to where it's actually a manageable and controllable to sand it down to the size that we need and manipulate it to what needs to happen to get it into the ring.
All right, and you do more than rings,
Yeah.
right? I was seeing
Yes.
like necklaces, but I mean, there's a big gallery. Like, you look at this, it's not like, you know, a dozen or two. This man has made many pieces of jewelry. So, like, what are all the different types that you do?
Yeah, so I do obviously wedding engagement rings, do fashion rings, and then also like signet rings for men, and then also the pendants for ladies and stuff like
Okay,
that.
has anyone ever approached you to do things like bracelets or anything beyond?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I have done bracelets, and they kind of have like more of a theme that look a little bit closer towards like the longer bar pendants,
Okay.
but
Okay.
just on the wrist.
Nice. Nice. How many pieces do you think you've made? I don't even know. Have you ever
Oh man.
counted?
Well, I have books on my shelf of every ring that I've made for a customer, and it's multiple notepads. I just one right after another. So there was a time it was we were averaging about a ring and a half a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. And these are custom, right?
yeah, each
So each one's
one.
custom. That's fascinating. I
Yeah.
mean, that's fascinating. So what, like, how long from start to finish on average? Like, let's say a man's band. How long is that? How long does that take you?
So with the current order queue, I'm sitting about 4 to 6 weeks for each ring to be made. Now it's not constant focus on one ring. I mean, it's multiple rings at a time of working through each one, and then and by the time that it's finished, it's roughly about 4 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. I know when I came in, you were showing me some of your machinery back here, and there's more than you can see back behind us here. But one of them is like it's like a drill, and it's got water going on it, and it's wax, right? It's like a special
Mm,
wax. Now, is that it somehow creates your three-dimensional design,
yeah.
and then you cast from it?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So then once it's machined out on the machine, I take that and I make a mold of it, and then and I have multiple rings, and it kind of looks like a tree of rings just sticking to a wax trunk. And so then once the mold goes for about 2 hours to harden, and then I give it an extra day of really hardening to make sure that all the moisture is out of that mold. And then
Hmm.
once that's done, then I put it in an oven for 14 hours, and it completely incinerates all of that wax and all of the work that the machines did, um, and and removes it from the mold. And then once it's ready, so that's it goes up to about 1700 degrees, it comes back down to about 1000 degrees, this mold, and so then it
Wow.
gets transferred into the machine to melt the gold, which that melts at 1900 degrees.
1900
So
degrees.
it's red hot.
Wow.
And then once it's everything's set and ready, you got a few seconds, you pull the lever and it gets vacuumed. The gold gets vacuumed into the mold and fills all that negative space to where those rings were. And then they don't look pretty afterwards. So there's a lot of
Grinding and buffing
grinding.
and
Yes,
all of
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Wow, that's about 1900 degrees.
yeah.
That's crazy,
Right.
right? Yeah. So it from what I've seen, what you've shown me, both on your sites and in person, um, it looks like you primarily work with gold, and it looks like yellow gold, white gold. Is there a certain carat you work with so that it's hard enough?
Yes. 14 karat, and that's about 55% gold, and then it's mixed with other metals to make it hard and wearable for every day. Because if we did 24 karat gold rings, they're just gonna be because it's just so
Hmm.
malleable. You're gonna destroy a ring. So,
All right.
yeah.
One of the cooler ones I saw, and I think it's kind of like one of your showcase images, was a woman's, I don't say like engagement ring, or it's maybe an anniversary ring. It's got the three diamonds in it,
Mm,
and it was cool because it looked like white gold, and it had the wood inlay inside of it. I've never seen a woman's, I'll call it an engagement ring. I
right.
don't know, that's how I
Yeah. Yeah.
classify it, with wood inlay, and
Yeah.
it was just so unique
Yeah.
to me to see
But
that.
yeah, so there, early on, that's what I started doing. Was I had bentwood rings, and then I was adding, diamonds and moissanites and stones to those wood rings, which was, not seen at the time. And so I was just challenging myself more and more with that. And then it moved into, well, I'm going to take like a contemporary engagement ring, the style of it,
Hmm.
design my own, but make room for the wood. And often I would think like, oh, I see how, traditional jewelry has made this section of ring full of diamonds. Well, what if I had that?
Like the channel kind of
Yeah,
thing. Is
yeah,
that the right term?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What if I had that made with wood, replacing the diamonds, and then also making those two worlds marry together, the diamond and the wood. The it's like the very rich and unique and special diamond that's shiny and attention getting, to the earthly, and marrying those two
Right.
together
Okay.
to.
Well, Jonathan, it's been great getting to know you more
Yeah.
and the business that you're in. I think it's fantastic, and I'm really impressed by the machinery and the shop and what you have. It's I don't know like what the word like rustic, and or me growing up, my father always had like workbench with like tools on the and to
Yeah.
the point where he would drill into the wood, and it was just it wasn't like look pretty. It
Right.
was, I'm
Right.
rolling up my sleeves, and
Yeah.
this is the cool stuff, this is the
Yeah.
craft,
Right.
right? And so that's what I really admire about what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of a thing in the jewelry world that if a jeweler's posting pictures of work that they've made and their fingers are clean, You're like, that's
There's
not a jeweler. Jeweler's fingers are dirty.
So again, we're going to put Jonathan's contact information down in the links. So you can go check out his material. You can look at the images. You can also reach out to Jonathan directly. If you have questions, you can post them. If they're questions that are general in nature, I'll do my best to help out. If it's something I can't address, I'll make sure that the comment gets over to Jonathan so that he can reach out to you directly and get your questions taken care of. All right. So thank you everybody for your time here. Help us out. Give us a like. That actually brings our videos up to the top of the queue because there's many videos out there in YouTube. And also hit that subscribe if you're interested, because this is not just a one and done kind of business interview. We're going to be interviewing various businesses of all kinds across the Redding and Palisadro area, may even grow into the larger Shasta County overall. So if you're curious about your neighbor businesses and you want to know what's going on in the nitty gritty, this is the place to come. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.